horror, mystery, thriller movie from 2016. The movie is directed by Brent Bell, with Lauren Cohan as a nanny alongside others. This is the story of a young American lady who, in order to escape from her aggressive boyfriend, finds a job as a nanny in a remote English village. But it turns out that the boy who needs to be looked after is actually a doll. After the family leaves the house, strange things start to happen. Greta Evans reached the desired address by taxi to look for a job as a nanny. The house looks fascinating, as from the storybook. Greta went inside and left her shoes and things. When she climbed the stairs, we saw a family picture. She heard a sound upstairs and went up to look around the room where the violin and other toys were. When she picked up one of them, a grocery man came, who frightened her with his voice as he greeted her. His name is Malcolm. Greta asked about family and the boy, but soon Mrs. Heelshire came along. She asked where her shoes were. When Greta went to get them, they weren't there. Surely the boy took them. His name is Brahms. When she met the boy, she saw that he was just a life-size doll. Several nannies were already here, but Brahms refused them all. There is a list of things Greta should follow, like waking up at 7 a.m., dressing him, reading poetry out loud, playing music, leaving leftovers from food. Mr. Heelshire showed her where are the traps for rats. Brahms does not like them. Later, Brahms accepted her as a nanny. Greta talks to her sister about the conditions in this house, and how strange it is to treat a doll as if it were alive. The next morning, Mrs. Heelshire shouts at Brahms because he made a mess. Mr. Heelshire said they are going on vacation now and handed her the rules to follow. If she doesn't follow them, Brahms will be mad. Before they left, Mrs. Heelshire whispered, "I'm so sorry." Greta leaves Brahms alone and covers him with a blanket because he scares her. Greta goes around the house, preparing lunch and reading, while Brahms sits downstairs. Later, when she went to return things, she saw Brahms revealed by the blanket. She took him to his room and threw him on a chair. That night, she wakes up and approached the picture when something grabbed her. It was just a nightmare. Greta heard some noise and went to check Brahms, who seemed to shed a tear. She tried to open the attic, but it was locked. Greta still doesn't follow any rules about Brahms. Someone called on the phone, but didn't answer. Malcolm came and said Brahms burned in the fire when he was 8. Family Heelshire have been using the doll to replace their son for 20 years. Malcolm also invited her out tonight. As she chose the dress, she closed the door, as Brahms watched intently. While she was taking a shower, her dress and necklace disappeared, and she noticed that her hair was cut. She immediately freaked out because there is no one in the house except Brahms. Greta noticed the attic ladder. She went up to check, and the attic ladder closed by itself. Malcolm arrived to pick her up. Greta tried to give him a sign, but he didn't notice. Greta saw something and fainted. The next day, it was open and she could go down. Malcolm came and checked that there was no one in the house, and the stairs closed on their own, so no worries. He stayed and told her they had 2 stories about Brahms. Polite talk, where he was a lovely lad, and pub talk, that he was really strange. Brahms can hear their conversation in his room. It seems like her ex-boyfriend is looking for her, and he found out her address. The next day, her shoes appeared in front of the door, and Brahms sat on the bed with rules to follow. Greta was very scared and locked herself in the room. The phone rang and she heard Brahms's voice talking to her. Then he brought her favorite food. She laughs hysterically and waves in front of him, deciding to follow the rules from now on. Mr. and Mrs. Heelshire wrote a farewell letter to their son. They put a stone in their coats and committed suicide. The next day, she started following the rules. They ate together, read him a story, and tucked him in, but skipped the last rule. When she was playing the piano with Brahms next to her, Malcolm came and brought a letter. He invited her to come out again, but she refused because of her obligations around Brahms, which surprised Malcolm. When he left, she started talking to Brahms, but none of the answers. He suddenly disappeared, only to appear upright as he stands. She called Malcolm, only to prove to him that Brahms is alive. Greta used chalk to mark the area around the Brahms to see his movement. They came out of the room so that he would be alone because he is shy. When they came, he did not move. Malcolm thinks she's tired and needs to rest, but he gave her another chance and Brahms shifted. Malcolm can't believe it. He thinks it's some kind of ghost or trapped spirit. Greta said she was pregnant and lost a child because her boyfriend was beating her. They went to a room and Brahms stopped them by playing loud music. Malcolm wants her to go to town because it's not safe here. Once there was a girl named Emily who used to play with Brahms, but one day she got killed and suspected was Brahms. When she went inside, she saw Cole, her ex-boyfriend. He bought tickets to take her home tomorrow. Malcolm came over and they talked about it if she needed help. Then he got out and stayed in the car, just in case. Greta brought him a blanket, but he stopped her for a moment, saying that he is sorry, and asking for forgiveness as well as to prepare things for tomorrow. While Cole slept, blood fell from above his head, and he saw an inscription. He started yelling at Greta why she did it, but she said it was a doll. Cole started chasing her to take the doll, and Malcolm came along. Cole smashed the doll, and suddenly, everything started shaking. Cole approached to eavesdrop, and was pushed away by the blow. The hand began to come out of the wall, and we saw that it was a real Brahms. He attacked them and killed Cole. Greta and Malcolm tried to escape and find a secret passage behind the wall. They found his room and address. A letter is saying they were not coming back, and she is all yours now. Brahms managed to catch up with them, and Malcolm stayed to keep him. But Brahms knocked him unconscious, and Greta managed to escape. She decided to come back to save him. When she saw Brahms, she told him, in an authoritative voice, that it was time for bed and to follow the rules. But when he lay down, he asked for a kiss, and Greta stabbed him. He pushed her away and began to choke her, but she managed to spread his wound, and he died. She went to pick up Malcolm, and they went together, while Greta had a smile on her face. In the end, we saw that someone took and repaired the doll. Cast members actually used the doll to prank each other on the set. The film was originally titled In a Dark Place and had Jane Levi in the lead role. One of the quotes which we can draw from the film is Greta saying, "You wouldn't hurt me, would you, Brahms?" Brahms has been living for 20 years inside walls, and no one knew that, except his parents. Both Greta and Malcolm were shocked by this discovery. There were a lot of unnecessary jump scares, like while she had nightmares and others, but differs from the other horror films, which include a doll. The movie was written by Stacey Menia, and the music was done by Bear McCready, who also composed music for other horror films, like Child's Play and 10 Cloverfield Lane. Thank you for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. See you soon.
Let's spend some time wasting it away. Your love is like music. You went and changed the game.